Today's guest has stayed close to Minot State after a standout baseball career. Joining me now is Sal Rodriguez. You've seen him plenty at Corbett Field playing for the Beavers and pretty much at any baseball or softball diamond around the Minot area. Sal, first of all, how does a kid from Woodstock, Illinois end up on the Minot State baseball team?
Well, playing baseball for the majority of my life, of course, and it started out with my parents. My dad mainly wanted me to play golf, and one day I heard the announcement at school to say, if you're interested in playing ball, come down to the office and get your registration form. So sure enough, I went and grabbed the form and took it to my parents, and they told me if this was something I wanted to do, then I had to stick with it. And sure enough, I stuck with it enough and saw enough success during a young age and through middle school and high school that one of the coaches here at the time saw one of my videos online and gave me a call, and sure enough, I made my visit, and here I am. I not only was able to play a career that I'm proud of, but also stay in the Minot area and continue to work in the community and with the people that really made Minot special for me.
How does learning to have that level of commitment and applying yourself to baseball to a hardcore measure kind of help you in other areas of life?
Yeah, the biggest thing I think is I didn't necessarily learn all these values and things from baseball. I mean, it was a big part of it, but I learned a lot of it from my parents. So my dad, my mom, they both worked extremely hard growing up, not only to make sure my brother and I were able to play the sports we wanted, but also to have, the best equipment that they can buy us and put us in with the best quality teams, the best quality training, and all while providing for, us as a family. And growing up, I had my grandparents move from Puerto Rico to live with us, so my mom was taking care of them while working jobs. So I was seeing a lot of that hard work in action, and my dad's a workaholic too, where he worked crazy hours and went through a lot to provide for us, like I said. And so I learned those values. Became really important to me as a baseball player off the field, and then those continue to become important lessons on the field. And now that I've, finished playing, I can still use those same lessons that I learned from my parents and from baseball in my life day to day now.
If you didn't have that kind of buy-in from your family and supporting friends just to give you the best coaching and equipment, like you said, say you're a baseball player and sure your parents are working hard, but they're not going to like that length of what your parents did. How much would your baseball life be different?
I think it's one of those things where it's not the gear, and I never by any means had the most expensive or the newest equipment, but my parents always did their best to make sure, it might be a year or two old, but it's brand new. It's not wrapped or it's not been used by another player. It's just a couple model years older. So, but I mean, regardless of the equipment, it's just the effort that you put in. So, anytime I wanted to go out and practice, my dad was right there with me, or my brother and I played in the backyard constantly all the time. We watched games. When we weren't watching baseball on TV, we were playing the video games, like just becoming students of the game and of the sports that you're interested in. And it could be sport-related. It could be anything in life. Once you become infatuated with what's going on, you can really learn, and it doesn't have to be something that you have the best equipment or have the most money to do. Growing up, we didn't have the most money by any means, but like I said, hard work and dedication that helped above all in that sense, whether it was putting in the extra hours or my dad coming home and taking us out to the games or my mom taking us to practices. It's just staying dedicated to what you love.
You put up a lot of power numbers when you played with the Beavers. Was it obvious for a long time that the kind of player that you were going to be is one of the guys that could hit home runs, or do you kind of take time to fit that mold?
So, when I was younger, I always was a bigger ball player, always had a lot of power, but I always prided myself, even when I got to college, was my ability to hit the ball to all fields. I didn't want to be a guy that was just going to pull balls and hit fly balls only. I wanted to be able to do it all. Now, the one thing you probably wouldn't see me do is bunt in most cases. But, yeah, I knew that I had the ability to hit the ball out of the park, and any at that. It was just a matter of getting the right pitch to do so and whatnot. But that's never anything that you go up there saying, yeah, I'm going to be an all-or-nothing home run guy. That was never my intention. And like I said, I just wanted to drive balls to the gap as hard as I could. And if they happened to carry out, then that was awesome. But line drives will win any day. And I really wanted to be that kind of player. Now, at a younger age, it really showed that I had the power and whatnot. When I played again, when I was 12, 13, 14, I was killing home runs all the time. But then once you get into the college level where pitching is way more strategic, they're way better, you need to start refining your approach. And so, it's just a matter of simplifying the game and having fun.
I'm curious if you could possibly provide a take on this. You're from Woodstock, Illinois, and I have a couple buddies that used to work at the Minot Daily News and KMOT that are from Zion and Libertyville, and those guys like to go back and forth at each other, whether it's different upbringings or how good their sports teams are. Were you close enough to maybe give a neutral impression of the Zion and Libertyville area of Illinois?
So, as far as kind of which is better and whatnot, I really can't make a strong opinion on that. And although I did go to school in Woodstock, Illinois at Marion Central, if I would have stayed in Crystal Lake where I lived my whole life and gone to the public high school there, I would have seen a lot more of those schools in conference play and non-conference play. But because I did go to the private school out in Woodstock, we played a lot of other private Catholic schools. We played in the Christian League. We played in the Catholic League for a couple of years. So I can't really weigh in on that too much. So I'm not gonna get in on that one. Just know that both are really good schools, and I'm sure we can talk depending on which sports we're playing. But I'll stay out of that one.
To be honest, it's better to just keep the debate alive moving forward anyway. That's fine, Sal. So whether it was a player that was like a similar type as you, just trying to hit the ball in the gap and out of the park when you can, or perhaps even otherwise, maybe modeling just their work ethic or anything else, what baseball players did you really look up to coming up and maybe still even today?
Yeah, so just growing up being a Puerto Rican male, I've always heard, I never got the opportunity to watch Roberto Clemente play, but that was one of the players that you can read about, you can watch clips on, and really see the kind of genuine person that he was, the hard worker that he was, and then also just the sheer talent of a baseball player that he was. And so growing up, I wrote all my papers, I did all my presentations, I did everything about Roberto Clemente, and that was the big thing for me. I really loved everything that you never heard anyone say like a negative thing about him, and so I was like, that's the kind of player I want to be. And it was something that I can say, being a Hispanic male, he's a Hispanic male, Puerto Rican male, I'm a Puerto Rican male. Like, that's just something like, holy cow, I can see myself being like that. And then, of course, being a Cubs fan growing up, Sammy Sosa, they just did the documentary on it. Anytime you turn on the TV and saw him hitting home runs and blowing kisses to the camera and all that, I thought, holy cow, this guy's awesome. And then you had players like Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, just guys that continue to play well into the back ends of their careers or the later years in their career. And then now, being a ex-college player, I was watching guys like Mike Trout and all the younger guys that are just breaking into the league. And so I've definitely loved to watch this good, fundamentally sound baseball guys who like to work hard. And really, there's nothing too much to it. I just enjoy watching good ball players.
Did any older members of your family ever tell you anything about Roberto Clemente, or did you just kind of read up on him?
No, it was always a big thing. A lot of Puerto Ricans, whether you play baseball or you don't play baseball, everybody will know the importance and know Roberto Clemente. So I grew up hearing stories, and my dad would say, "Oh, if your grandpa was alive, he'd tell you about this and that." We used to watch him on TV and all that. And so definitely someone that I grew up hearing a lot about, whether it was from my uncles, my aunts, my dad, my mom. I heard plenty of stories, and I read books, and like I said, I did the research on the guy, and so definitely was looking up to him, even though I never got the chance to actually watch him play.
At what point do you turn from being in awe of players that you can currently watch to identifying what technique you kind of want to take from their game? It's kind of like more focused in on relating to your own baseball career, building your own skills. When does that kind of happen?
I think all that kind of stuff begins even when you're a young child playing in the front yard and you're pretending to be Sammy Sosa, or you're pretending to be, David Ortiz, or whoever the players may be. It starts at that young age where you start seeing kids imitating players, and then of course you start getting older and coaches start fine-tuning what you already have as a swing, and I was lucky that my dad pretty much dropped golf, stopped playing. He loved golf with a passion and dropped the game to help me and my brother really practice and perfect what we were doing. So he was reading books by Ted Williams and all these guys that were great ball players, and he was basically, we had a homemade swing. We took a little bit of this guy and then a little bit of this person, and I was lucky enough to have lessons where I had really good hitting instructors work with me to fine-tune my skills. And so, once I got older in the college level, it was just a matter of finding and trying the right things, so trial and error to make sure, maybe this will work, maybe this doesn't work, let me try this, and really just putting everything together until it clicks and feels comfortable.
There were times that the Division II Minot State baseball program that you joined saw pretty much like the leanest of lean production, but then you guys end up winning the NSIC regular season championship in 2018. What was kind of like the turning point, or what got a team that, again, saw a lot of tough times to a point like that?
It was really, really interesting. It was just a matter of saying, we're sick and tired of coming in and just being mediocre, and we had guys to come in, and we really had to dig deep within ourselves to figure, hey, this is going to be a different team. This is going to be a team that wins. And I think it started well before guys were showing up saying, we're ready to play ball, we're ready to win ball games. And then once I got to Minot State as a freshman, I know our freshman class, we were super excited to be here. We loved everything about Minot State. We were all in to the idea of winning games, and I think we showed a lot of really good things that freshman year, even though we were, like you said, a lean team in terms of win and loss record. Like, the team was there, and all the pieces were in order. And I think, we were able to take, when Scotty came in, Coach Eul, he also, demanded that excellence out of us, and we already knew we had that. So it was just a matter of going out every day and playing hard, and it paid off real quickly for us.
Yeah, you just said Scott could be tough and demand things of you, but at the same time, it feels like it could be a little bit of a player's coach at the right times. Where do you kind of fit him in on the scale of player to disciplinarian coach?
I'd say he's the perfect balance, and if I had to say even Wepler before, I think he laid a really good foundation for us, and I loved Wepler as a coach. I still talk to him and chat with him whenever I see him, and so nothing but the highest respect for him. And then when Eul showed up, it was the same thing, and he just brought a lot of energy as well, and so that was something that we were able to feed off. He came from St. Cloud, a team that was still really good team, one of the powerhouses in our conference, and so he wanted to win just as bad as we did, and he kind of came in and just said, "Listen, guys, this is not the goal. This is the expectation." And once you hear that enough, you start buying into it as well. And so that was a huge part. So he'd fall right in there. He can be, your best friend, and then he can also shoot you out and get at you when you need to, which I think is perfect.
Getting to play college baseball had to be a big goal for you for a very long time. But once you get to Minot State, you arrived, there you go, you accomplished it, you're a college baseball player. On top of that, what did it mean for you to be a captain of the team?
that meant a lot. It was one of those things where on all the other teams I've ever played on, I was acknowledged as a captain, but once you get to college baseball, it's different. So it means a lot more when you get there. I think high school there's a little bit, but it's still almost a popularity contest or who's the best player on the team. And then once you get to college, it's more of a well-rounded who is a leader on this team in the locker room, on the field, off the field, all that. And so it meant a lot to be voted by my teammates as a captain. So that's something that I think stands up there just with all the accolades and records and things like that is the ability to be noticed by my teammates as a guy that's going to be there for the guys that can lead a team. It really did mean a lot to me.
I doubt that it was maybe a perfect ascent to becoming the captain of the Minot State baseball team and all that good stuff. Maybe you ran into it sometimes, maybe some adversity along the way where maybe the coaches had to tell you, hey, Sal, do this instead. So in that mind, are you only ever called Celestino when you're in trouble with someone?
No, there's very few times that I do get called Celestino. It's really kind of interesting. When I was in kindergarten, I was one of the only misters in the whole class because for whatever reason, teachers and people sometimes trip over the name a little bit. So it just became easier to go by my middle name there and go by Sal, and that stuck with me. So even when I'm in trouble, my parents never called me Celestino. So it really is not a common thing to hear.
So it's Celestino Salvatore Rodriguez or what?
Celestino Sal Rodriguez.
Straight up only Sal. That's fantastic.
Yep.
I always thought it was from your first name. So I was like, technically, like, why didn't you go by Tino over Sal, considering it would be Sal Rodriguez anyway?
Yeah, no, it was Sal's my middle name. It's on the birth certificate, and a lot of people ask me, what is Sal for? They just spell my first name and think it's something else, and like, nope, Celestino Sal Rodriguez.
Did you go by Sal or maybe try some other kind of wrestling moniker when you were in the Western Canadian Baseball League since you got away? And why did you want to have that experience, and what did you get out of it?
Yeah, I totally had a great time in Canada. I think it was some of the best in my playing career. I had the opportunity to play in Florida and California, back home in a local collegiate league against some really good ball players, and then that opportunity to come up and play in Canada came from the idea of a former teammate that I was playing, a few of them actually. So Jordan Schultz was a white softball player here, Jeremy Sylvester, pitcher on our team, Zach Kunkel, who played a couple seasons here. Those guys, and Jordy McDougal, another. There's a good handful of guys that played up in that league, and I heard nothing but great things about the league, whether it was the talent, the atmosphere, how they treat the players, and so I put out a couple inquiries to several teams and said, hey, I'm interested in playing, and I finally got a response from the general manager, Greg Morrison, up in Medicine Hat with the Mavericks, and he played in the same ballpark that he now runs the team out of at Athletic Park in Medicine Hat with the Blue Jays minor league system. They had the Medicine Hat Blue Jays that were there, and so he's been around the block. The coaches that he's had coaching for him have been amazing. We had great hitting instructors that played pro ball, pitching coaches that played pro ball, and so the quality of guys that he brought there, and then of course the other teams that you play in the league and the attendance that you play in front of in other places, especially in Med Hat, was unbelievable, and that was probably two of the best summers of my career, or two best seasons, period, in my whole career, and I was lucky that we won it in 2018, and that was a whole experience, and probably the closest thing that you can get to affiliated baseball without making it. It was unbelievable.
What's like the comp between something like that and like the Sabre Dogs and Minot?
Yeah, I would say that I can't speak on what the caliber of ball player is in comparison, just because I haven't watched. I haven't been able to sit down and watch what the Expedition League has to offer. I know my brother played in it. I know I've had teammates that play in it. I know they have some really good ball players in the league. And so I'm sure it would be very comparable. Just in some markets, up there in Canada, they really love their baseball, and so you'll draw really big attendance to get the news coverage no matter where you go and play, and it's something that's really exciting. And so I know I can only speak for my experience up there in Canada. We have ball players that were from everywhere, D1s to JUCOs at any level of college baseball, and there's guys that could really, really play the game well, and the fans are super passionate. So that was something that I'll never forget that for sure.
I want to get into your coaching in just a second, but can you tell me a little about your experience working with the Players' Choice Academy in Algonquin, Illinois?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started working there in high school. I forget the exact year, but I think it probably was my sophomore year, and I started working there. I was doing everything from counseling birthday parties where I would coach them and how to play dodgeball and flag football and basketball to hitting lessons, sports camps. I was doing football camps, softball camps, baseball camps. I also, sold things out of our pro shop. So when it came to fitting athletes with equipment, I was doing that. So I kind of just did all the different things you can do in the academy. So that was a great time, especially being a high school baseball player in the area. I got to go in there and work out and work and make money. And it just never felt like working. I loved the owners there. I loved the people that came in there, and it was just really a great time.
Speaking from both your playing and coaching experience, how similar or different is it when receiving coaching like through an academy place versus like going to a high school or college practice?
Yeah, I think, there's different levels on how you want to look at it. Of course, when you go to an academy or whatever, that's a service that most times you're paying for. But the coach is one-on-one with you. They get to break down everything in your game. And it's really good for some of those players that really like to talk the game. So for me, I love to hit with my hitting instructor. His name, it's going to be fun. Everyone's going to laugh, but his name was Joe DiMaggio. And was not related to the Joe DiMaggio that played for the Yankees, but he played college baseball. He played at UNLV, and he was a catcher. He was a standout in our area. And we became pretty good buddies. I'd go in and hit. We would hit together, and it felt more of this personal, and he was helping me become the type of player that I needed to be. It wasn't a one-size-fits-all where everybody's going to learn the same thing. And so that's something that I really appreciated. But then when you come to college, too, we had a hitting instructor. So Pat Arnston, who coaches out of Highlands Performance now and coaches the Vistas, he was really a key part of me becoming a better hitter, too, at the college level. We worked a lot individually, so you see a lot of similarities. Now, of course, when it's a team practice, it's a little harder to get that one-on-one, and it's more on you to show up to the ballpark and really know how your body's feeling, what your swing is doing, and things like that. But I thought there's very similar things, especially when you work one-on-one with your college coach. But at a young age, I think those one-on-one instruction is super important if you're really serious about getting to that next level.
If that guy's real name was Joe DiMaggio, you might as well just be Alex Rodriguez. How much did that probably help his business?
It was never advertised that his name was Joe DiMaggio, and so actually the dad and son were both Joe DiMaggio, and so they were great. They were awesome, and so I miss those guys a lot. I really do.
All right, coming back up to Minot, where you've been doing some coaching here. What was it like working with, Alec Grothy, Reese Ramirez on a Bishop Ryan High School softball coaching staff? A level that you're used to for high school anyway, a different sport though, even super close to baseball.
Yeah, I think that helped me a lot in my baseball career because I had to really be able to understand what I'm talking about and be able to see it in others. But then if I want to set the example, I'm the kind of coach that likes to set an example to my players. And so when I do something, I want them to see it exactly how it should be done. And so that means I need to be able to do it. So I saw, or at least I felt that I was a better ball player in baseball because of my coaching in softball. But at the same time, coaching with Alec and Reese that first year was fantastic. I mean, showing up to the ballpark with a bunch of great girls that really want to play the game and love the game and want to have fun, it was awesome. And so hats off to Alec and what he was able to do with the program for the 2 seasons. We were looking forward to this third program and ran with it, and the girls loved them, and everyone loved showing up to practice and working hard. So that was unbelievable time showing up and coaching with those two.
So now we got you going with the Minot Storm in the summertime and some Babe Ruth umpiring. Be honest, how well do you think you're umpiring so far?
You know, I don't think I'm bad, honestly. It's interesting to be back into the game and actually be on the field with the players and whatnot. I think it gives me a really unique look at coaching just because I've been a player, I've been a coach, and now seeing the game from an umpire's viewpoint, you really understand all the points that go into making baseball or softball the way it is and how the brain thinks about the game. And so I love it. I think I'm a pretty good umpire, but there's still things to learn and still areas to polish up on, but I enjoy it a lot.
Have you gotten grief from any coaches yet?
No, none yet, so that means I'm doing something right, I guess.
So, because, I saw you in Surrey, you were on second base. You do much more home plate, and then it might happen?
Yeah, I think, either way, baseball is one of those games where, coaches and players and whatnot love to get upset at the umpires and things, and it's just really important to understand that, it's not a personal attack. Whether you make a call or don't make a call, there's always going to be one side that might not agree with it, and that's just the way the game works. So I don't take anything personal, but I'm lucky that I haven't really got anything too crazy yet.
I can't wait until I get the chance to film the Sal Rodriguez umpiring John Boy breakdown and then post it online. It'll be fantastic. Like a lip reading video.
We'll have to send that out to some umpires around and see what they think about it.
What exactly to do 100% correctly. Now,
that's right.
Another role that you have in the community right now is being an admissions counselor at Minot State. Obviously, it's a position where, of course, you want to be able to show kids why they should be coming to Minot State, end goal being, come to Minot State, probably. So what would your experience of being a student-athlete kind of lead you to doing something like that? Like, you were recruited once before, and now you're kind of, telling kids, why the university is, worth touring or worth coming. Why did you want to be in this role, and how's working in that department like?
I love it. It's something that I honestly feel like I wouldn't be able to do the job that I currently do and be an admission counselor and talk about Minot State University if I didn't love my time as a student and love the faculty and staff that are here on the campus and all the things that we have to offer. And I truly do believe that. Because it's when you sit there and you have to tell students, this is why Minot State's a great fit for you, this is what we have to offer, it's really hard to fake that. And so I think the students, they're not dumb, they're all smart, and so they can read that if you're not genuine with how you feel. And I really did enjoy my time, everything from being in clubs and being the president of clubs to being the homecoming king to playing on the baseball team and being a captain and doing all these things. I really did enjoy my time, and I was lucky that I had the opportunities that I did here, and I think that makes jumping into this role relatively seamless. And I worked in the office here as a student tour guide, so I've had enough experience being on campus and working with students and prospective families that I was comfortable. And during my time as a baseball player, when you have a recruit show up, you tour them around campus and hang out with them. And I think it's just really important. The biggest thing is just to help students understand what we have to offer, how that may fit what they're looking for. And at the end of the day, just give them the best information that they can have and make sure that they get the right fit, because I would rather a student come here because it's the right fit for them above anything.
Obviously, it has to be a group effort in there. In case any of your teammates at admissions gets a chance to listen to this, you want to give them some more credit?
Yeah, they do a great job. Everyone from our office down to our admissions specialists that process all our applications, and Melissa, shout out to them. And then we have Sydney Clark, who's doing a great job over here, and she's our North Dakota admission counselor, so she works mainly with our North Dakotans. And Renee, our assistant director, she does a great job. And then, of course, Katie, our director, helping us stay in line here. Everyone here does a great job, whether we're working with students from here in Minot all the way to across the world. and beyond. They do a great job. They're super awesome, and they really make work worth coming to every day.
Yeah, keeping Sal Rodriguez in line sure sounds like a very difficult job. At this point, as you move forward into a big picture career goal setting, I mean, what do you kind of want to make a next step maybe perhaps in your lifetime right now?
You know what? Well, it's kind of interesting. So right now I'm just trying to focus on finishing my immediate goals and immediate tasks. So making sure that I get my work done here in the office, make sure that I can coach my softball players this summer with 100% effort, making sure that we can help them become better, working on, the umpiring gig on the side. And then, of course, I'm working on a master's in sports management right now, so I should be set to graduate with that in the spring. And so that's something that I'm really trying to focus on right now. And then after that, I'd be open to see, what happens. But I like to take it day by day. Let's walk before we try to run. And I never ran much in baseball because I wasn't that fast. So I like to just take it easy day by day and just, let the right things line up for me before I make any decisions.
Yeah, definitely focused on getting your work done well at the office again in baseball and softball coaching. Maybe a part of the more immediate focus for you is getting all that stuff done so that you have enough time to hit the course at Wildwood and join up with a lot of guys that you know in the athletic department and try to show them how to do things from tee box to green. But a lot of things with golf is just the mental game of it, even raw skill. Like you can hit it a mile, but you might put it on the highway at 10 or the 12 fairway by accident. So both controlling your own game, but maybe messing with some of the others. What's important to getting under Ryan Miner and Brandon Applewhite's skin on the golf course?
It's just playing your game. At the end of the day, it's all fun. I think my dad would be. I actually know my dad's happy that I've gotten back into golf because we'll talk on the phone for an hour and just the way we did about baseball and buying baseball things and sending each other pictures of the new bats that are coming out. It's turned into golf conversations, and I'm sure he missed that. And so we talk a lot about that too. But it's just something to try and be good at, try to be competitive at, without playing ball anymore. It's fun to go out and try to master golf and become as good as I can at that. It fuels the competitive juices. And going out with no matter who it be at the golf course, a lot of times it's Ryan Miner and Brandon Applewhite, but I love playing with those guys, and we might chirp each other a little bit, but there's no way they get under my skin. The only way I fold is when I get under my own skin.
We've been in a couple of foursomes together with you three guys, and don't tell anybody, but we hit a fiver one time with Scott Eul, head coach of Minot State baseball. When you're playing with him, I mean, is it kind of get into the letting your boss win dynamic at all, considering he was your head coach? Do you take it easy?
No, we never take it easy. Never, not once. It's interesting making that transition from playing under Coach Eul to now becoming more cordial and whatnot. And so, definitely enjoy going out on the golf course and playing with him, or whether that be with Trayvon Smith, who just graduated. We like to play Eul and Applewhite a few times. And so we've played once. Eul and Applewhite took the win by a stroke in that one, but we're getting ready for the second one. So there's never going to let Eul win, but he's a compete guy too, so he understands that.
And you mentioned how it's been a transition for hanging out with Eul now, more cordial. In what way was it less cordial, ever?
I'm sorry?
In what way was it ever less cordial? You're like, oh yeah, it's different now, it's more cordial.
No, it never. I mean, maybe that was just the wrong word for it. But, when you play for Coach, like you said, we talked about it earlier. He's a team guy. He can be the friendly guy, and then he can also light you up. And so, I think I was always one to say, Coach is coach, and he's going to be viewed as coach, and then. I don't think you become buddies with your coach necessarily. But I always respected him in that sense where, I'm not going to try and be buddies with Coach at the end of the day. If he chews me out, and I've been chewed out by Coach before, like, I got to listen to what he says and go make my corrections and things like that. But now that I don't play for him, I don't get yelled at by Coach, and at the same time, the only praise I get from him now is when I hit a good golf shot. So it's a lot less. You don't have to sit there and say, Coach Eul, and then follow everything to the T. You don't have to worry about all that. Now it's just a lot more laid back, and it's probably the right way to say it.
When I had Ryan Miner on, I asked him this same question, so I want to give you a fair shot at it. Who's better at golf, baseball or hockey players?
Well, I mean, I don't know about the whole baseball versus hockey players because, man, some of us baseball players, we got a mean slice in us, especially guys that hit. Pitchers tend to be some pretty good golfers. I don't know what the situation looks like for our hockey friends. I just know that I killed Miner yesterday, and I want the record to be known. We were playing out at Rough Rider, and I absolutely destroyed him. And I beat Applewhite. It was more competitive. Me and Applewhite can be pretty competitive back and forth, but definitely toasted Miner, both of us.
Rough Rider's difficult.
I want that to be known.
Yeah, Rough Rider's difficult. I'm not gonna edit the timing of it, so we can consider taping on the 19th. You beat them on June 18th, and then I guess you'll end up, in theory, beating them on July 5th as well. So congratulations, a 2-time victory, Sal, up at Rough Rider, a very difficult golf course.
Beautiful.
Way to go, absolutely. So another way that maybe you could compete, drawing in from your golf scores or skills, is I'm curious, what would be your best way, or who would win in a cross-country race? Emily Westlake or Sal Rodriguez in a golf cart, but the cart has to go half speed for the second half of the race?
Ooh.
Don't get in trouble.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. She'd probably still win. Because then I'd be sidetracked by something and pull over or forget, But for being a cross-country runner, she'd probably win that one for sure. And it wouldn't really even be a cross-country race if I wasn't running. So she would 100% smoke me any day of the week in anything that has to do with running. 100% guaranteed.
Yeah, you just got to navigate the tight turns there, Sal, with that cart. So talked about your love for talking the game of baseball as you were getting better in your academies and stuff, but I think you might have just the gift of gab in general. Tell me a little bit about just the way you like to interject and spoil your go-to movie lines.
Oh, it really just depends on the movie. If I'll sit here in the office, I think anyone will say, I'll start mentioning something, and people will be like, oh, it's this movie. Or on Fridays, I love to play the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood theme song. I don't know why that is. It just always seems like it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, regardless of which Friday it is. And so I always will play that every Friday. So today, everyone heard it bright and early. Otherwise, it really does depend on the movie. Emily hates hearing me say it, just throwing them out there, and just before she even gets the chance to hear what the line is in the movie, I'll drop it. But that's how me and my brother were. We watch the same movies all the time and just totally spoil the movie, but we had a lot of fun doing it. So I don't know. Maybe my parents and everybody always tells me I should get into acting or something like that, but I don't know if I got it like that.
Yeah, so Fridays are for Mr. Rogers, but other than that, what other car karaoke songs are your go-tos?
Oh, everything. I think people would be surprised when they hear my musical catalog. It could be anything from Frank Sinatra and some big band music down through, classic rock to Motown hits to rap music. And I wasn't a big country person. I came here and started dabbling with it. I'm still probably not into all that hardcore country that a lot of our country friends will be familiar with, but we're starting to explore into that, and so it really is just whatever comes on. If I feel inclined to sing, I'll belt it out.
So you'll always be caught up with the trends, or perhaps even ahead of the trends. So with that in mind, obviously a broad interest in it. If you had to pick 3 that are going right now in the Dodge journey, what are the songs?
3 three that are going in the Dodge journey right now. Let's see. Bohemian Rhapsody would probably be one. Then we've got Suavemente by Elvis Crespo is going to be number 2. And then number 3, if I had to pick, oh, man, that's a tough one. I would say anything that falls into that 2000s hip-hop and R&B. I mean, we could get down with some old Chris Brown. We can get, Ludacris from back, Nelly, Eminem, anyone. Any of those artists from that 2000s era, because if they came on, I'd be screaming it. I probably wouldn't even be singing.
Oh, he's got fine taste.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, real life or fantasy, that was Sal Rodriguez for today's show. Appreciate your time, Sal.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. It was a pleasure.